All right, welcome back. Okay, this is the second video in the series of making your first 5K throwing parties. Today, you will leverage off of my 22 years of throwing parties in San Francisco, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Watching this video, you will walk away with some core details of how to set yourself up for big success right out of the gate. Pay close attention, and if you have any questions at all, there's a link in the description below that you can easily reach me. So let's go. And now we're going to go through the planning and some of the planning, what needs to be done with the timeline and what I normally do first. It's very, very important what I'm going to share with you right now, because in the first video, we saw how you need to have the excitement, not only for yourself and the party you're planning on planning, but even the people that's going to go there, obviously. So now we're going to talk a little bit about what you need to execute on. So one of the first things I do when I have come up with the concept and I kind of know the place where I want to rent or have the party, it may not be a rent, but that I want to have the venue, I will secure the date, and I will always secure that with a contract, because guess what? If somebody comes there and is going to have a wedding or a business meeting or something, boom, they can just wipe you off. So you want to have a signed contract with them that gives you a guarantee, because it needs to be in writing. And obviously you have a good relationship with them and everything, and hopefully they'll be straight with you as well. So that's very, very important. So when you nail the date down, okay, I can sit and talk about this for a long time, but it's actually very important, because when we did our parties back in San Francisco, we very often chose Friday. Why? Because people will go out on Saturdays for sure, and maybe even Sunday, but very few people, actually, when we did our parties, we kind of occupied Friday as our main party day, because guess what? We were a step ahead of the others. So if they came to a party of ours that lasted to 2, 3, 4 in the morning, they'd be wiped out for Saturday to go to their party. And I didn't want to have the competition of all the other parties normally taking place on Saturday. So that's actually one of the main things. And I also like Friday for another specific reason, because it's the end of the week. People are ready to let loose and go and have fun, and they can rest up both Saturday and Sunday if they so want to. So it's a great way to start the weekend. So there's a lot of psychological things with that. So if you're smart, or if you feel that you can follow the same concept, do it. It's a good tip. All right. So then you want to also check who else is doing a party, if so, on that date. Is it on a Halloween night, for example? I can go into some details here too. So let's say Halloween would fall on a Saturday night. Everyone would do the party on a Saturday night. We did ours on Friday. It works just as well, and we're a step ahead of the competition, and we cleaned up. Seriously. So, but you also want to find out, like it says here, if there are any main competitors of yours that are doing a party on the same date. That's very important. So don't negate this point right here. So you want to, especially as you start out, you don't want to go head to head with some of the big promoters in the city that has some of the same crowd. If they don't have the same crowd, that's okay then. So there's a few factors that fits in like that. But in general, you don't want to compete with the other big party promoters. But we eventually became so big that we were the dominating force in our cities in many ways, and especially for our segment. So other people started avoiding when we did our parties. So that was a good compliment, actually. So the venue now. So is the theme that you want to do at the venue, in this case, if it would be a White Nights party, or which we called it for the summer solstice, or is it a Halloween? Does it lend itself to that? Is it a very classy event, or is it more down to earth? What kind of things do you want to do in there in terms of entertainment and what have you? We've done all some crazy stuff. One time I brought in big rafts that I filled with water, where we had a toga party, and we filled it we filled with grapes. So I mean, it was crazy stuff we did, and obviously the venue needs to lend itself to that. And we went to some of the finest hotels in the city, actually the finest hotels in the city. And of course, we need to have a reputation with our crowd and management, and all of that needs to be in check in order to get to rent venues like that. So the venue is actually really important. It's one of the second most important things I do once I come up with a concept, make sure that it's a winner for the concept. First thing I do is to look on a calendar and secure a venue in a contract. Because once that in place, I can put all these other things in place as well. And there's a couple of things, as you see, I have here on my list here. So you want to make this a priority, but also you want to make sure that you also can secure the DJs. If you have a certain DJ that follows you or that your crowd is used to, you want to make sure you can secure that. And not only that, I talk a little bit about that further down as well, but I will mention it now as well because it's important at this stage. Are your main people, your co-hosts, are they going to be available? Are they have that day open? So for example, in San Francisco, I tied in with a big Latin group. I made sure that they didn't have anything going on that date so that we can collaborate, and he could be, or that group could be, a co-host. Same thing with Persians, same thing with, sometimes we did it with the Russians. They had their own group, and all kinds of things like that I want to make sure that I have your main people that's going to push for the promotion and help you build it. That's really, really important. Okay. When it comes to the venue and negotiating terms, in the beginning you probably don't have so much leverage. However, I'll turn that around. One of the first parties I did, it was a friend of a friend's bar, and he would normally have maybe 30-40 people there on a night, and we had 250 people. We managed to get a little kickback from the bar. We didn't want to squeeze him too much either because he needed to make the money, but we brought him 250 people that he never had been to his place before and made a shitload of money that night. So we wanted some of that back as well, and we did. And of course we got drink tickets and stuff like that. Those are the kind of things you want to also negotiate. So I talk about that a little bit further down as well, what do you need to negotiate. Okay, let's see here now. So the contracts are important. You want to try to avoid having a bar minimum, meaning the bar owner or the venue might say to you, hey Alf, if you're going to do a party here, I'm going to shut down the venue just for you, and I'm going to have to hire extra staff. So that's expenses for him, right? Or her. And we want to make sure that you have at least 5,000 or 10,000 bar guarantee. Be very careful with that. You got to know your crowd really well. How much does your crowd drink? What do they order? You'd be surprised. People are not doing 3-4 drinks ahead. It's not that. It's more like 1.5, 2 maybe on average, because some people don't drink and they only buy soda. Unless you have big VIP spenders that come and book VIP tables. That's a different story, okay? So, but you want to know that. So be careful about doing that. I would not agree to that in the beginning. So you want to avoid places like that. Now you can turn the table and say to them, hey, if we hit a certain milestone, we can have a kickback. But we did that sometimes. So and those things needs. I'll get into that further down as well. How you set that up and how you do all of these things, because it's very important, and you'll learn some really kick-ass ideas. Now I'm going to keep on sharing valuable stuff with you that I've learned for taking me years to learn. And if you think stuff like this is valuable, make sure you click down below and like it. If you're interested in learning more about what I do, there's a link for you to set up an appointment with me. You can call me and ask me any questions you want, because I'm here to actually help people become successful party event organizers, just like I was. And what a gift it was to me. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity for anyone that's out there looking to do the same. So let's continue. So what you want to include in an exclusive service, you need to know what you're getting. Is if a venue says to you, okay, you can have my place, but you can't have it until after 12, you need to be very much aware of that. So you need to have everything in writing when you can start setting up, because then you need to know what for entertainment and props and stuff like that. Props, I mean by carpets, searchlights, decorations inside. You may have a team of a production company go in and do certain things. I've done that sometimes. So you want to make sure you have all of these things done in place. And one of the last points here, you see me talking about how you have a go-to person at the venue that you can reach for questions. You don't want to bug the owner unless he's really hands-on or she is really hands-on with those kind of mundane things. But it's very important for you to clear certain things. Maybe questions about emergency exits or air condition or sound system or the dance floor. Is it carpet or is it wood? Especially if you're going to have a salsa, Latin crowd in there, they definitely don't want to be dancing on a carpet. They want hardwood floors if they can, or linoleum. So there's all these things that I'm just mentioning for you right now. And what can you do and cannot do? Where can you do the line outside? Are you in? Is there parking? I mean, are there any regulations? Is there anything going on in the city? Are they having an event that's going to affect the venue? There's all these things that you need to start thinking of, and there's checklists for that I have for you and in the list that you're going to get. Okay. Yeah, and a little bit about the venue again. Know what is included and not included and what you need to bring, because if you need to bring in a sound system, that's going to be extra money. You need to have that on your expense sheet. So make sure that the venue has the right sound system and a good sound system and air condition and all of these things. Little things like that can make or break your party. And you also want to understand the flow of traffic inside the venue. Where do you bring them in first? Is there a coat check, for example? If it's really cold or raining outside, do you have that? Where will you check in? Your cashier will be. Where will be your doorman be? Does he have a clicker? Now, also another really key point here. Very often when I did the events, my crowds would be from like 18 up to 20, 25, and 35. Some people that are under 21, they can't get in. They're not allowed to come in. So I would make sure that the venue had their man, together with my security guard, that was dressed and knew how to handle people really well. But the venue also had a person there to check the ID, because then we are hands off. We are not letting anyone in because they could literally lose their liquor license and dance license. So those things are very important. So make sure that you are smart about those things. So anyway, hopefully this gives you a little bit better idea of what's going on, what you need to do and plan. And all of these things are worth gold to you, because follow these pieces of advice that I'm giving you, because they'll save you lots of trouble and nightmares, and you'll set yourself up for success. And that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to be successful, and you're going to work with the right people. You're going to find the right way to promote, and we're going to get into some of these very, very important tips and tricks as the videos are coming here. So comment below, subscribe, make sure you like the video, tell others about it, and click on the next thing to go to the next video when that is available. I'm producing them in chunks. So if you're curious about anything in the meantime, ask me questions here in the comment, leave comments, tell others about it. And I'm so excited you're here. I'm here to help you become successful and to learn what I learned over 22 plus years in San Francisco. I had a great time, so much fun, made great friends and relations, and I hope the same for you. I'll see you on the other side. Comment below, click on the next video. See you soon. Ciao.